The election results, especially the strong Republican showing in capturing the Virginia governor's office, has some Democrats in Washington questioning their party's agenda and tactics. Late this afternoon over at the White House, President Biden sidestepped taking any blame and told reporters the Democrats' best hope is to, quote, get things done. Let's get reaction right now from Democratic Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut. Senator, thanks so much for joining us. As you heard, the president says he recognizes that people want their government to get things done. Is the fact that Democrats have struggled to deliver results responsible, at least in part, for last night's devastating blow to the party?
I don't think it was helpful that during the closing weeks of these governor's races, there was focus on the sausage-making factory of Washington rather than the results that we can deliver to people. But I also understand all these races are different. I think there's a lot of local factors on the ground in New Jersey and Virginia that have something to do with those results as well. There are other places around the country where Democrats did okay. In Connecticut, we picked up a handful of mayor's seats. I was just talking to the New Hampshire senators. I think Democrats netted gains in the Granite State. So I ultimately think this is about a complex array of factors on a state-by-state basis. But we've got to get this done so that we can start talking to people about how it's going to change their lives. We're going to bring down costs. We're going to ask billionaires and corporations to pay for it. That's going to be really popular. And it's time that we wrap this up so that we can start delivering real results and cost reductions to Americans.
Senator, I want you to listen to your colleague, Virginia Democratic Senator Mark Warner. Listen to how he put it.
Only in Washington could people think that it is a smart strategy to take a once-in-a-generation investment infrastructure and prevent your president from signing that bill into law.
Because that bill passed the Senate, 69 votes. 19 Republicans voted for it back in August. It then went to the House, and it's been delayed. It's been delayed and delayed. Do you agree with your fellow Democratic senator that that should have been passed right away in the House and let the president sign it into law and deal with the reconciliation package separately?
Listen, I don't give my House colleagues advice on how to structure their business. I think many of them wanted to pass these two pieces of legislation together because they thought that was a way to make sure in the end we get the biggest cost savings for our constituents. The idea was that by putting them together, we might be able to get more help for people to afford childcare, for instance. We might be able to get a bigger commitment to expand Medicare. So again, I don't want to read too much into the impact that our debate in Washington has on these state races. I'm sure it wasn't helpful for us to have not passed both of those pieces of legislation, but I imagine there's lots of local factors that are much more important.
Yeah, well, both of the Democratic senators from Virginia think at least the infrastructure, the $1.2 trillion infrastructure package, the first time in 30 years a huge infrastructure package like that was going to be going forward. At least that should have passed, and they think it would have made a difference in the race for governor. But we shall see. As you know, the House Speaker Nancy Pelosi now says she's putting paid family leave back into the bigger $1.75 trillion reconciliation bill. But Senator Joe Manchin, your Democratic colleague, still says he's against it. So how and when does this infighting stop?
Well, ultimately, this bill has to pass both chambers, and that's difficult in both places because we're operating with razor-thin majorities. If Speaker Pelosi can pass paid leave in the House, I'm glad because I support getting paid leave to parents. We're the only country in the high-income world that doesn't provide some ability to get paid when you're home with a new child or you're taking care of a sick relative. But I don't know whether that can get 50 votes in the United States Senate. Maybe by passing the House, by rallying the American public around this very popular proposal, it could change people's minds in the Senate. But ultimately, I think it's time to get something done. And frankly, what we have in the framework already, reducing people's child care costs by $10,000, putting tax cuts into the hands of 90% of families with kids, that's going to make a big, big difference. I want to add to it. I want to make it better, but I also want to make sure that we get something done.
Yeah, you got to get something done, clearly. Senator Murphy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.